Welcome, my dear students of class 11 to this English class with me, your tutor Atinyo Sekose. Today we are going to continue with the lesson that is The Diamond Maker by H.G. Wells. You would find it on page 38 and chapter 5. So in our previous class, we have discussed the interaction between the diamond maker and the narrator, and we have also discussed about the author, we have discussed about the setting and so on. And now we are going to pick up from where we had left. That is, the narrator was very much confused, in fact criticizing or judging his making reason or making judgment based on the appearance of the stranger. And we left with the question of why that is so, or how is that the diamond maker found himself in that kind of a situation, dire, poor situation, begging a total stranger or trying to make ends meet in that manner. So now we find that the narrator had pointed out that one needs to be, if one is in great power, like he said, in a big business, then they are in a power to influence the weaker section as well. So that is what we have discussed. And at that point of time, even remember, this stranger is also thought to be a very intelligent one. So he realized that this is a personal attack on him in the conversation. So he said, "I forgot myself, of course you would understand." So that was how he replied. In fact, that points the fact that he was offended. So this confirmed that he would not believe his extraordinary story about diamond making. We already learned that he is a diamond maker, and now, so that is why he realizes that maybe this person, this gentleman or the narrator here will not be able to understand what I'm trying to say. The business of making diamonds, what is he trying to say here? The business of making diamonds. You are out of work just at present. So even that question posed to the stranger here is very sarcastic. The tone of sarcasm can be understood here. So again, coming back to the theme, that is appearance versus reality. Yes, you are telling me, the narrator is saying that he figured, or he thought that this stranger is telling him all these kind of things just to fool him and that to be taken advantage of. And now when the stranger pointed out that he is working in the business of diamond making, big business, I suppose that is what you have been doing, but presently you are now out of work, and that's why you are trying to explain that you are in this kind of a position and so on. So that is again what we find here. I am sick of being disbelieved. At that point of time, this stranger, he pointed out that I'm sick of being disbelieved. Why is it that nobody is able to believe when I say I'm a diamond maker? Now, when we come to the process of diamond making, you will be able to understand this clearer. And he took out a brown bag and showed him, that is the narrator, the diamond, a large brown pebble. So it was a large brown pebble, and he took it out to confirm that indeed he is a diamond maker. Now, the narrator too was a very learned person, as we realize from the conversation here. Had a science degree. He had a science degree and observed that brown pebble, and said, unlike uncut diamond, regular octahedron shape. So he was able to identify that it was a rough diamond. Inspect it with a penknife, that is a pocket knife. He took out a penknife. So this also tells us that he knows about what is real diamond and what is fake diamond. So a penknife, and tried to cut it, but it could not cut. So if it is a real diamond, in fact, diamond is that very thing that can cut every other metals, or for that matter, even glass. So what happened here is that he was not able to cut that brown pebble with his knife. So that is confirmation one, that it is very likely or probably a real diamond. Tried it on his watch, and what happened? He tried to scratch it on his watch, and the diamond cut his watch. So again, it scratched the glass. So that is the second confirmation that he found, and yet he was not able to believe it. Why is that so? Because he does not believe that it is a diamond, even though his reasoning said that, or even if he had proved that it could be, in fact, a diamond, he pointed out that any person who is sane enough would not have bought such a diamond in that kind of a situation, that is coming back to a setting at night. So you will not be able to trust that kind of judgment. So this stranger said that he would sell it for 100 pounds, but he refused. The narrator refused on account of no sane man would buy a diamond by gaslight, tramp on a personal warranty or judgment. No person, a wise person, would not buy such a diamond for $100,000, but at the same time from a tramp, just simply based on, without no legal document, just simply based on a tramp. So that is still the impression that he have here. Now, the story of how he became a diamond maker unfolds. Now remember he said that I am being tired of being disbelieved, and now he tried to point out why he is a diamond maker indeed, and in the process these are things that we find out. You will find that I will tell you a little bit about myself. So that is how he started narrating about the diamond making process. The narrator was almost convinced but reasoned such a large diamond would be mentioned. If not, it would be illegal, he inferred. So here is again the narrator. The interaction between the narrator and the stranger is very interesting. You might want to keep track of all these things. He again convinced himself. He said that he refused it. At the same time, he convinced himself that if it is a real diamond, and it will definitely be mentioned in documents. So, and if it is not mentioned, and he has not come across any such kind of big brown diamonds, so here he thought that it is illegal. And if you've bought illegal stuff, you would likely land into trouble. So that's why he refused it again. How diamonds are made is what we found from the point of view of, or from the narration of the stranger on page 44. You may want to keep that noted and make it for your reference. So how, in a very brief way, diamonds are made out of carbon pressured at a very high pressure to a melting point until it crystallizes. And yet we find here, so that is the process that we have, and yet comparing it again to his appearance, that is his hard-up situations, having this big large diamond and selling it is very contradictory. And he pointed out his sacrifices to the work of research. I have given up my life to it, he said. He pointed out that in this research of making diamonds, he had sacrificed his life. And he pointed out he started when he was 17, a young age, till 32. So that tells us that it was 20 years of dedication to this work, risking his life to come upon the right trick. Now, his whole life was spent in that manner, to try to figure out how to make diamonds. And he risked his life, his entire life, we can also say, or his best years of life in that research. To think, I'm on the verge of it. And yet, here is the irony. The stranger said that I am on the verge of becoming very rich. So here is again H.G. Wells' point of view on how people view their economic status from the point of riches, that is money. So that is what we have here. Now what happened? Was he able to make that diamond? £1,000 at 20 from giving tuitions. He earned some money from giving tuitions, and everything that he earned, he spent it on that research. And the trouble was the secrecy. He had encountered so many trouble, not just with the process of making the diamond, but one of his biggest trouble was maintaining the secrecy. Now, why is it that he wanted to maintain the secrecy? You would find it on page 45. People cannot be made known of his research. If it is made known, people might take advantage of it. And to think about it, if he is able to succeed in that making of diamond, many people would want to copy that same process and make a lot of diamonds. So he wanted to be the first one, and he wanted to make the most out of it before the diamonds become very common. If it can be made easily in that way, the way once he figured out the process, then the value of diamond would drop. So that is why he said that maintaining the secrecy was very important. Then, or the possibility of being suspected. Now, at that point of time, remember, we were also talking about pessimism, about the 19th century that is to do with a lot of war and so on. So the political scenario was also such that it was contradictory. At the same time, sort of a Cold War is also going on. So with that kind of a suspicions towards the citizens, and citizens feeling suspected because of the fact that they might be working against the government and so on. So that is what we have here. So that's why he needed to maintain top secrecy. Yet people must not know it was an artificial process. So what he's doing here is he is working it out from his laboratory and making diamonds. We all know that real diamonds are found only when we mine it, and it takes years and ages for it to form. So that is the case here. So it was laboratory made. His laboratory at Kentish Town was lost for maintenance reason, and he was he has a small laboratory at Kentish Town earlier, or before he encountered this stranger, or we can say before he made that diamond, that brown diamond. And what happened is that he was maintaining that laboratory, but remember, he dedicated everything to this making process, and what happened is his resources started to dwindle. So that 20,000 that he had, 20 pounds that he had made was also spent, and he started to sleep or slept on straw mattress on the floor, but kept the experiment going on. So you remember, diamond has to be made at a very high heated pressure until it comes to, the carbon comes to a melting point. So he had to keep making the fire. So when he does that, he had spent all his money, resources in continuing the fire to heat it up. So that is what happened to him. And we realize that this is also his understanding of success, the stranger's perspective. He does not have any university degree, but he relies more on practical skills. And he invested a lot of his time and labor for such research. And 3 years ago, he pointed out, bought a gun barrel that can be heated for great pressure and duration for his purpose, that is, to heat up the carbon and turn it into diamond. So he bought a barrel, but what happened? At this point of time, even the narrator, we realized that the narrator was also very much engaged in the conversation. That's risky, he also pointed out. And indeed, it blew up. What happened is that it blew up, and it fortunately or unfortunately, he lost all his belongings in that apartment, except for that barrel. He was able to collect a few, some kind of a diamond powder. So with that, he left, and again, he bought a steel cylinder and started the whole process again, started heating up that, what he thought is diamond powder. So, in that process, he nearly came to harming other people, such as the fruit sellers, costermonger, and lady tenants who were sharing the flat. So that is the kind of risky research that he was undertaking. So what did he do? He collected those diamond powders and he went for a walk. And when he returned, the thing was, he found the cylinder is still being heated and found it as it is. Time is an important factor, he pointed out. So in the process of diamond making, time is an important factor, and he started to let the cylinder cool down for 2 years. And in the meantime, he became penniless. He begged in the street. What are the things that he had done? He begged in the street, got 6 pence from a girl, and referring to the vanity again, the fact that he was grateful at the same time, how people try to do good things just for the sake of appearances. So the theme of appearance is again found here. And he got this 6 pence and he was feeling very hungry. He looked at the fishes that were being sold there, but he did not spend it on that. Instead, he spent it on coal and so that is how he sacrificed his money. 3 weeks later, he let the fire out completely and found 3 big diamonds. So towards the end, he found 3 big diamonds, but again he encountered a problem. His drunkard neighbor reported him as an anarchist. An anarchist is a person who worked or who plot against the government. So remember, we have mentioned a little bit about, discussed a little bit about that. So that was the report against him for making, and he was suspected to be making bombs. So when he was reported, he had to flee. And so he collected those diamonds and he fled. And when he tried to, when the news was out, even the newspaper reported him as the Kentish Town bomb factory. So now he had become someone like a criminal who is hidingly trying to sell his diamonds. And respectable jewelers suspected him if he tried to sell it. So, because that is a very large diamond, just as the narrator suspected that it could be a fraud thing or it could be fake, that's the same case with the jewelers. Selling it as stolen goods will again lead to persecution. So, prosecution, in fact. So that is the kind of troubles that he encountered. You are the first person I have taken confidence in. He pointed out that you are the first person, the narrator told the narrator that you are the first person I have taken confidence in. Maybe because he thought that this person would be able to understand him. But the irony is that he hung those diamonds on his neck, and yet he was not able to sell it, and he is going hungry every day, and he is being pursued every day. So that is the situation that we find here. And now the narrator, we find him in a state of disbelief. He gave him his card, but at the same time he gave him his card to visit him and in his office. And what happened after that? The diamond maker was given half a crown for the story that he had narrated to the narrator, and he promised, the stranger or the diamond maker promised to pay him back, but he warned him not to report him. And he took the card and they parted. He crossed the road and went into the darkness, and that is how both of them parted. And the narrator said, that was the last I ever saw of him. Afterwards, in later years, he had 2 letters from him asking for cash or bank notes. So we realize here that still he was not able to, the diamond maker was not able to sell his diamonds, and that he's still very much hard up. And what other information did the narrator found? His servant or his urchin here told him that, or reported to him that a stranger, someone who is very dirty, looking sickly, came looking for him, but he did not left any message. So at least he tried to contact him and try to ask for money, but he never really followed the advice of the narrator, that is, to come and visit him actually in reality, in the office. Why? Those are some of the questions that you need to answer. Maybe he is scared that he would be reported. Maybe he is a fraud. So those are some of the things that you need to figure out. Make sure that when you read it, I have given some examples in the previous class, the reading tips. Make sure that you stick to the text and justify your answers when you are working on your questions and answers, because all the answers are there. From the dialogues of the characters, you would find such kind of answers. So here, the narrator, to conclude, the narrator thought whether he had lost a great opportunity, that is to buy such a large diamond for a very low price, either that or that the diamond maker was a real professional fraudster. So that is the question that we are left with. So on that note, we would be winding up today's class. Thank you all very much for joining me.